Mrs. Randolph is the Florence Nightingale of psychiatric care. But she is a professional psychotherapist, and Dr. Turner is certainly enthusiastic.
Okay, so I noticed these little notes. Has probably struggled with an inferiority complex at some point, believes in the rights of the individual to make decisions about own bodies. So I think this is a result of the questions we answered, like being pro-choice and stuff. Patient has trouble getting things done when horny. And I thought that was so funny, I took a screenshot. Suggests that patients spend time sharing positive energy with others. I'm gonna skim this because I don't feel like reading the whole thing.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and learned helplessness, rehabilitation strategies. Says antecedent factors such as marital conflict, unresolved family issues, lack of a strong supportive network of friends, and excessive... Are you trying?
I'm cold.
Have you done that thing where you, like, blindfold somebody and go, like, what does this smell like? And you, like, blow out a candle so they smell smoke?
Uh-huh.
And then you take an ice cube and put it on their arm, and they think that you burned them.
Oh.
But it's just an ice cube.
I can't wait to try this later.
I know what you're gonna be doing. Always be careful about what you tell Stacy, because she will weaponize it immediately. Dissociative symptoms and flashbacks to trauma are not effectively dealt with, and suicidal preoccupation with suicidal impulses are ever present in the patient's consciousness. At the same time, the tendency to resist outside support and or intervention is strong. Self-mutilating behaviors such as cutting the skin with razor blades or puncturing the skin with sharp instruments become a substitute when patients lack the mobilization of resources to kill themselves. It is
okay. that was a lot.
Sorry. I'm like, and so on and so forth, as is usual. It is one of the ways the patient tries to tolerate the lack of emotional control that occurs as the traumatic memories unfold. Until the patient can safely explore specific aspects of the trauma with the critical incident psychotherapist, these patients remain a danger to themselves and others. When self-injury no longer has the desired effect, their actions may become lethal, i.e. self-destruction, or in some rare cases, attacking others, including those in the helping professions with homicidal intent.
Homicidal intent or homosexual intent?
Where?
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Oh. One of the most extreme are recreating the traumatic setting with actual props and persons present, as the tragedy has had inconclusive results. Sink or swim. The therapist can have some gauges how the patient is responding and coping to the pace of the stage theater the therapist is bringing to the patient. Already have residual rituals that they have been secretly playing out behind the backs of other survivors. So many patients with traumatic memories already have residual rituals they have been secretly playing out behind the backs of other survivors. It's up to the therapist to direct the flow of recreating the trauma. They may experience greater resistance by other survivors who have sought to bury all the residual emotional currents of the trauma with the dead. Huh.
Yeah, so...
I thought that was pretty cool.
So I think what that sounds like to me is that it's saying, like, Michael
The next
also...
TAT will be given in my receptionist's office. Look
That
for the
Michael-
abstract painting.
That Michael also has, like, memories of the trauma, but that he doesn't want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they were saying, like, you may encounter resistance.
It definitely seems like he has trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I think this situation isn't good. Not good at all. Could even be dangerous. Mrs. Overton really doesn't need her husband undermining her therapy. That poor woman. Not that I think Mrs. Randolph is the Florence Nightingale of psychiatric care, but she is a professional psychotherapist, and Dr. Turner is certainly enthusiastic. Perhaps a little too enthusiastic. Well, it's my lunch hour, and it's wasting away. Keep an eye on him for me, will you? And maybe you should watch out for our nurse-turned-therapist. She's a bit too clever for her own good, if you ask me.
Nobody asked, but thank you for telling me. Brief history: this attractive 26-year-old married patient of the 5-year-old girl parent of a 5-year-old girl came in requesting a prescriptive medicine for depression. States she has periodically suffered from depression since adolescence. Describes a childhood with parents battering each other and the children during alcoholic binges. Left home at 16 years of age to live with aunt in San Francisco. Received a high school equivalency diploma. Attended community college and completed a program in medical record keeping and computer technology. Moved to Rogue Valley in 1991 with her husband Brandon Carter. Has worked periodically at community hospitals and numerous medical clinics in the valley. Okay. Married 7 years with one daughter, Caitlin. So she got married at age 19. Claims her life would be without meaning if anything happened to my baby. Describes many medical emergencies she's had with child since her birth, including chronic and severe ear infections, intestinal disorders of unknown origin, and breathing irregularities, stating her husband does not provide emotional support in parenting her daughter. That kind of says...
So it says that, but if you just read a little bit further,
okay.
Her distress appears to be situationally induced by an obsessive concern with her daughter's health and safety.
By her husband's lack of attention and long working hours away from home. Became defensive when I suggested that an effective means for reducing stress, in addition to prescriptive medicine, was to make greater effort to include her husband in parenting Caitlin. This in turn would give her a chance to get a life for herself. Suggested that her husband's periodic excessive use of alcohol created distress in his workaholic tendencies, mitigated against him having much investment in family decisions making and participation in dealing with daughter's many medical problems. Immediate treatment goals: return appointment in 2 weeks, recommended marriage counseling with clinical psychologist, suggests that I would be willing to work with her around her daughter's illnesses, further advises entrusting her daughter to a single pediatrician rather than physician hopping to hospitals and medical clinics through the valley. A consistent medical plan to strengthen daughter's health appears to be lacking. Mother may need education about typical childhood illnesses, encouragement around her ability to care for her child in a non-crisis mode. Symptomatic patterns and diagnosis justification. Patterns of daily or almost daily depression for over 2 years. Poor appetite, fatigue, periods of hypersomnia and insomnia, difficulties in concentration, no manic episodes reported. Zoloft. Justine Carter. So it seems like she really, I don't know if this happened, if all the illnesses were happening before or after her, what I assume to be her death.
But that case is unrelated.
Oh, that's not us?
No.
Oh my god.
I was like, why are you reading the whole thing?
Oh.
That's just that's a random person. Justine Carter? That's not anybody.
Oh, okay.
I think they're just case notes to show like the other types of patients.
When you've concluded this
I
test,
assume it's all related.
you will return to the story. Out of the following, which dancer best personifies your personality?
Well, because the daughter's not named Caitlin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who the fuck are all these people?
Paula Abdul, I know who that is.
I mean, like, I know who these people are, but like...
Who's Gene Kelly? I feel like I know, but I don't.
Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and Ginger Rogers are all like old or dead now. Put Baryshnikov.
Who's that?
I don't know. Why not?
Just, yeah, I don't know.
Surrealistic art disturbs me.
Yes.
It does, but I like it.
Yeah.
Is that true? True?
Yeah.
Yes.
If I was on a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean, I would most want to have...
Drinking water?
Mm-hmm.
Or, no, I don't want someone to die with me.
The story of Adam and Eve is completely made up.
True.
This image makes me think of...
No, it doesn't make me think of... I'm just trying to look at, like, meat sex. That's what it
What
looks
is
like.
that? It doesn't even look like...
It kind of looks like a fetus. An
What?
operation.
Yeah. Sure.
It looks like meat sex, but fetus or operation?
Operation.
When I look at this, I see
Fish guts.
Car wreck. Fish guts make sense.
Getting old is
Horrible.
I would say natural part of life's journey, but I know Stacy wants all old people to die or something. I don't know. I see a completely different thing than Stacy. Both of what we both see is valid, but what Stacy sees is some sort of like flesh abomination
Okay.
of sorts.
No. I would like to just add a little bit more context to this because it comes out sounding like a joke, but if you remember, like my conversations from our Pixel Squirt episodes, you know how I have this trouble with looking at human bodies and seeing like flesh monsters.
Yeah.
And so, old people, it like exacerbates that a lot because like things are falling apart, and so that sounds like a really rude way to put it, but like
It's okay to have anxiety about age.
it's not that though.
Oh.
It's that like it literally looks like I don't know.
What you see doesn't make you wrong, but you're wrong.
Because I have the same problem with like looking at like naked people
Yeah,
a lot of times.
but we're gonna say horrible
Horrible.
or humiliating.
It is both.
I don't feel that way, but it's valid for you to feel that way.
Okay, we'll see how you feel
the
when you're
artist who
shitting all over
painted
yourself.
this.
Okay. Well, I do that anyway, so.
Oh my god, wait, it's because you stand up to clean your butthole, don't you? And then
I
it just
sit-
slaps the cheeks together.
I sit to wipe my ass. Okay. I don't understand. Is it people who just have no butt cheeks? Like
I don't know. And then you're just like, what, flinging it all over the place?
I don't know.
Like a monkey?
I don't know. Okay, so apparently we live in a world where literally 50% of people stand up to wipe their ass, and I don't get it.
See, it's one thing if you're already, like, if it's a different toilet situation, but if you're sitting on a toilet, why not just stay sitting? Why stand up after that?
I don't know. I think it's because they think they can get a better wipe standing. Like 50% of people. I don't understand. Is it people like who have no butt cheeks?
I don't know. I like this music to go along with this conversation.
I'm like every time I think about it, I get like really upset.
Because I just picture it kind of like,
Whoever made this is a genius.
Van Gogh painted such startling works because he was insane.
I don't want to use the word insane.
I mean, so here's the thing, is like, I agree, but I think that that's great.
Yeah, I don't see it as a negative way.
Yeah.
So let's say yes, but not because that's
Yeah.
Michael! Oh, Michael!
Well, you look so excited. What's going on?
It's Jody.
What about Jody?
She's sitting up. She's sitting
not-
up in bed.
Really?
Yes.
So Jody is
Catherine
herself.
got her to do it. We were just talking about how she needed to try harder, and Catherine said she should be sitting up in bed. And she went right upstairs and got her to do it. Just like that. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And that's not all. You gotta do it. You just gotta do it.
Do what?
She wants her own television for her room. She wants her own television.
Catherine wants her own television set.
Yes. No, Jody wants her own television. She's sitting up now, and she wants her own television set.
Oh.
Well, Michael, I would think that you'd be more excited and happy about this.
I am. It's such a surprise.
Isn't it, though? It's because of Catherine. That woman can work miracles.
Your hair looks great. What'd you do to it?
Well, Catherine did it. You will do it, won't you, Michael? You will get her own television set?
That's what she wants.
She does.
First, I gotta get the groceries in the house.
Let me help.
No, that's okay. I got it.
I'm not helpless, you know.
I know.
She is doing better.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think he's really seeing it the way he wanted it to work out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand from his perspective being a little afraid if the daughter is dead that
Yeah.
you're not coming to terms with it.
But, like, I think the
Where's
way
Catherine
she's
now?
doing it.
She's upstairs doing her meditation. She does it faithfully for 1 hour every day. While she's doing it, she can't be disturbed.
Was that right?
I was about, he's gonna disturb her.
Whatever she's doing, it takes a great deal of concentration. She's gonna teach me how to do it.
Oh, won't
Yeah.
that be swell?
They're gonna do yonic massage.
Michael, what's wrong with you?
Look at
Sacred
this stuff.
spot.
We got organic vegetables, we got health cereal, carrot cake with no, underlined, no artificial ingredients. And this stuff is expensive. If you ask me, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Soy milk, for Christ's sake.
Michael.
It just pisses me off that I have to go out and get all this stuff.
Nothing is too great a sacrifice or an effort if it will help Jody.
You're right.
Sitting in the rain with a beer. In case you guys are wondering, the videos really are just this low res because it's from the
Michael.
90s.
Could you go up to Jody's room and get her drawings and her notebooks? And her report cards, too?
What do you need those things for?
Well, Catherine wants them. She wants to know all about Jody so she can work with her better.
For crying out loud, Allison. I don't know where those things are.
They're in the bottom two drawers of her dresser.
Can you do
Would you
it?
please
I know.
do it, Michael?
What?
Or
She's
she wants him to
probably
be
asleep.
involved.
I don't want to wake her up.
Catherine is amazing.
What are you talking about?
I just didn't know that she understood you so well.
What do you mean?
Well, she said that you would say exactly what you did.
Look, Allison, if you want me to go upstairs, get Jody stuff for school, I'll do it. It's no big deal.
That's good, Michael. Thanks.
That's like exactly how I would react though. I'd be like, you could just do it yourself.
I think she wants him to be involved.
Yeah.
I have to do one thing. I hate it. He probably just doesn't want to go in her room.
Yeah.
It's like too traumatic for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Allison's obviously going through a hard time, but like, let's not forget that.
he has to be the caretaker and he has to be the one who holds it together.
Yeah.
So he probably is just as traumatized. Also, he takes the time to turn on dramatic music when he does anything. So this is not the soundtrack. He did it in the
He just
story.
turned it on.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I like that they show he's crying
Yeah.
instead of just him stoically looking. You know, he's like really like emoting.
Actually upset.
Yeah.
I've
was
worked
really
with
good.
patients in severe denial before, but never anyone who's suffered to the same extreme as Alison. And that's actually why I introduced Catherine into the process. Virtually her first case.
To really
When
just
she
shit
became
things
a
up.
licensed therapist was with a young man in Portland who was undergoing similar trauma after the death of his mother. And Catherine's effect was remarkable. I was somewhat removed from the case and don't really know how she did it. But I saw Danny in his before and after conditions. And the results were astonishing. She's good.
Okay. I don't know about this.
Can a woman be both passive and sexy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am
why not?
hostile toward people who lead alternative lifestyles.
That's
No.
code for I'm homophobic.
Yeah.
Sometimes, when I'm drunk, I get angry and break things.
No.
That's false. But do I want to see it? Yes.
Jodie can be best described as which of the following?
A memory.
If I was Michael, I would be very angry with Catherine.
Oh.
I would say it is normal for him to feel angry, but what would not be normal is to like act out violently about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say yes to see what shit show is about to happen.
I have dabbled in bizarre sexual acts.
Only on weekends.
Yeah.
Swearing offends me.
Not at all.
Michael needs to be more aggressive with Catherine.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. Let's
Like-
do it.
Yeah. By the way, getting drunk and breaking things actually is not okay. And if you
Yeah.
get drunk and break things, stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone you know that you're close to gets drunk and break things and blames it on the drinking, they shouldn't drink anymore. You
Yeah.
shouldn't hang out anymore. And always pay attention to the things that people break when they're losing it, you know, when like they're so angry. Make sure that you know what they're breaking, because sometimes it turns out that they're just breaking your stuff. So be aware. All right, time to snoop. Crazy radio time.
Mm-hmm.
We have Pat on the line.
Hello, Dr. Betty.
Hi, Pat. What's on your mind?
My husband doesn't want me anymore.
Do you know why?
He doesn't find me attractive.
Why not?
I don't know.
Is there something wrong with you?
I don't think so.
Your husband just all of a sudden stopped being attracted to you.
Yes,
You don't have sex anymore?
not for 2 years. And I can't figure it out. I never felt unattractive before. But now I'm starting to feel like maybe I am ugly. That maybe I've been deluding myself all of my life. Maybe when people said that I was beautiful, they were just being nice.
What do you look like?
What do you mean?
Describe yourself.
Well, I'm very tall, about 5'10", and I have
Sexy.
long blonde hair. I have very high cheekbones. My body is shapely. I have a 36, 24, 36 figure. A lot
Oh,
of men
she's
tell me I
5'3".
look like that
Yeah.
Italian actress, Sophia Loren.
Well, Pat, it sounds like your husband needs a healthy dose of testosterone if he can't manage to have sex with somebody who looks like you.
Oh, he's having sex.
With whom?
With Mom.
Your husband is having sex with your mother?
For the past 2 years.
How long have you known this?
I just found out last week. I went over to Mom's house to help her change her sheets.
You help your mother change her sheets?
Yeah,
What?
she has trouble getting around, doing
Oh,
housework.
no.
You see, she weighs 600 pounds.
600 pounds?
She's very big boned. And she's pushing 68.
She's 68 years old?
Anyway, I was looking under the bed, and I found a box of letters. Love letters from George to Mom. Very lewd love letters.
Well, it's pretty simple, Pat. Your husband is a geriatric obesophile.
A what-a-file?
He likes porking fat old women.
Well,
God, what are we?
what can I do
listening
to get him back?
You want him back? Are
Why
you
would you-
nuts? This guy is screwing your mother.
But I love him.
Well, you better start feeding your face because that's the only way you're going to get him back. So go out and get a bag of potato chips, Pat. I'm Dr. Betty.
So I feel like there's a lot to unpack
That was a
here.
lot.
No, because I think everything in this relates to the characters, even if it's not about them. Because she was pretty much describing Catherine. 5'10", blonde, high cheekbones, curvy. And then there must be something to it with the mother. Because he says it's implied that he has trauma. And there really are people, there are men and women, I guess, who are attracted to much older women. And there's also people who target much older women for violence because it reminds them of their mother. So I just thought it must be related in some way. But dude, this game is so juicy. Here we go. Jody sat up in bed. What a miracle. Catherine is amazing. Look, she's using more punctuation. Because I feel like even though it's still really weird, as you pointed out before, she wasn't using punctuation and stuff before. But now it seems as if, even though we're still indulging in the fantasy, she is getting better in some ways. That funny, unfocused look has gone from Jody's eyes, and her old sparkle is coming back. So I asked Michael to bring up a TV for her, and he laughed and said, "My God, why didn't I think of that before?" That's not what happened. He wanted to go out and buy a brand new TV, but I told him the old one would be just fine for now. Michael and Catherine are getting along famously. So I think that she, in her mind, uses Jody as a surrogate for herself. Michael joked about adding on a room for her. The strange feeling came again today, the feeling that something bad is going to happen to Jody, and it scares me so much that I have to sit down. Actually, I have to lie down, curl up, and cover my head, and the feeling terrifies me. It's like the world turns into a nightmare, like I can't tell the difference between what's real and what isn't. Then I start to cry, and I can't help it. I start to cry. I think the reason I cry that I'm so happy she's getting better every day, but the feeling scares me. I want the feeling to go away. So I think the closer she gets to getting better, the closer she gets to realizing that Jody isn't real anymore. So, no telephone, damn it.
Terrible sadness permeates this house. It would be easy, living here, to get sucked into it. I frequently need to visualize myself showering away the sadness and watching it swirl away down the drain. While Michael and Allison have, each in their own ways, struggled to cope with what happened to Jody, a distance has ripped open between them. Allison harbors a great deal of hostility toward Michael. It's so all-encompassing, so overwhelming that she doesn't even recognize it, let alone understand it. Her affection for me may be just a byproduct of her anger with him. I see it in her eyes. I hear it in her voice when she speaks to him. She told me that she and Michael haven't been having sex. I was surprised that she revealed so much so soon. It's a sign that she trusts me. Michael's lack of sex might explain something about the attraction between us. When he came in from mowing the lawn, I could feel the heat pouring off of his naked chest. He smelled so good, like grass and dirt. He tries to deny Allison's anger, but it's clear that he feels it on some level, but can't help but feel it. He's in a lot of pain. He suffers almost as much as Allison does, maybe more. Michael wants his wife back, all of her. I know exactly how he feels. My principal responsibility here is Allison, but I'm going to do what I can to help them both return to each other as whole and healthy human beings. They need me as much as I need this case. The advantage of this live-in therapy arrangement is that it allows me to use whatever tools of healing I choose, rather than just the ones prescribed by those narrow-minded drug pushers that call themselves psychiatrists. Just got off the phone with Turner. Apparently Michael has complained about me. It sounds as if Turner handled it well. Still, though, I'm going to have to find more effective means of dealing with Michael. I do want to help him if he'll let me. But if he won't, I simply can't allow him to interfere with my work with Allison. I really enjoyed working with Allison today. We spent a long time talking about Jody, and I tended to some of the basics Allison's been neglecting since the accident. I helped her groom herself and brushed and fixed her hair for her. I couldn't help but think of Colette as I did that, about the time we bathed each other, washed and combed each other's hair, about how afterward Colette had laid me down my bare back to the hardwood floor and taken away the towel. She asked me to stretch my arms straight up and to bring my hands together so my fingertips pressed against each other. Between each pair of fingertips, she inserted a marble. My task, she said, was to not allow the marbles to drop no matter where or how she touched me. She said if one marble dropped, she'd stop. I think I'll meditate. I could use a little relaxation. I'd like to get Allison doing it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to read this again. Not just because I had a hard time understanding what was happening. I think if she did that with Allison, she would be taking advantage of a person.
Teaching her to meditate?
No. Well, she has this erotic story and then says, I'd like to get Allison doing it.
She says, I think I'll meditate.
Right. She's saying that about the meditation, but she's also saying it in the same writing as this other erotic thing. So it's just implying that she both wants to help Allison, but also feels attracted to her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of depends on whether you think that somebody can be attracted to someone and still be a friend.
Yeah. A teenage girl was brought to the clinic by her parents for promiscuity. She was 14 and had already experienced, by her own count, 800 sexual partners.
What?
The patient kept track of these encounters in a notebook. That's how the patient found out what was parents found out what was going on. She met the men at bars or public restrooms. In the notebook, she recorded meticulous details of the sexual acts. For example, the size and shape of the man's penis, the time it took him to ejaculate, etc. The patient took absolutely no pleasure in the sex. Rather, she was obsessed with collecting new names and data for her notebook. Dr. Turner was brought in to supervise the case.
Okay. I'm not going to hate on anyone for being promiscuous, but 800 by the time you're 14 seems like a little...
Yeah, I feel like, well, the key point is that she wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
800, fine.
I feel like
14, too young.
Yeah.
14's when you, like, I don't know, hook up with this person that is the same age as you, consensually, and just figure things out. Not with adults.
Mm-hmm.
Something very interesting happened today. We were making dinner and Allison cut her finger while chopping vegetables. It was a bad cut, but she just quietly stared with fascination at the blood dripping out of the wound. I overcame my urge to bind the finger because I knew something important was happening. I figured she was having a flashback to the accident. I wonder what somebody would have said if they had just seen me watching her bleed like that, but I couldn't interrupt it, though. I had to see where it would lead. After about a minute, it seemed a lot longer, she started to tremble uncontrollably. And that's when I stepped in and washed and bound the wound. Allison didn't say a word for a couple of hours. She sat at the kitchen table, staring into space. It reminded me of when we went bike riding that one time and you flew over the handlebars and landed on your palms in the gravel, and you just sat there, plucking the stones from your bloody hands with the serene, rapt expression on your face. You told me that you loved things like that because they made you feel so alive. I wonder if Allison was thinking about life or death.
All right, let's peep in her thing.
The arbor, towering leafy canopies, arching crowns of emerald, children of far-off lands, why do you weep? Your branches leaning in silence, tracing signs against the sky, and, unspeaking witness to your laments, a sweet perfume ascends. In longing and desire, you spread your arms, and embrace, deceiving yourself, an emptiness, a fearful darkness.
See what she's got this time. Oh, same stuff. How to give handjobs. I don't want to read all this.
Well, I don't want to read it all either, but this is the yoni massage.
Place more pillows beneath her knees, sit cross-legged between her parted legs.
They can, I feel like they can pause and read it if they want.
Yeah, I don't want to read an extremely long erotic thing. I just don't want... Ooh, we can go in Jodie's room now, but we'll go to the bathroom and everywhere else first. Whee! Boobies.
Voyeurism.
It's okay to show art boobs on YouTube, right?
The
Just
next
not real
TAT
boobs.
will begin.
I don't know.
I feel like art boobs are fine.
I would hope so. But, like, what I feel like their definition... I don't know.
Yeah, they're just... It really just depends on how many people just decide to be an ass.
Yeah.
Fuck. Every time, this gets me. I don't know why. Alright. Study. Allison and I met in college our senior year. What? We were instantly attracted to each other and the sex was fantastic. After a month, we knew we were in love. She was so much fun back then.
Wait, what is confusing about that?
I forgot that the other thing we read was not about her.
Oh.
So full of life, she loved going on road trips, especially to the ocean. And we never talked about marriage, but we were always saying stuff like, when we have kids, when we have a house. One night, after incredible sex, Allison started crying. She told me that she was worried that all I wanted her for sex was sex. I told her that was stupid. So she said that she didn't want to sleep with me for a while. At first I was okay with the whole thing, but after a month I wondered what the hell was going on. I was incredibly frustrated. We started arguing a lot, and then all of a sudden we were on the verge of splitting up. Allison had a roommate called Tracy, a friend of hers from high school. She was a hippie chick with tattoos and a pierced belly button. She was very pretty and she had an amazing body. She was always flirting with me. One night Tracy and I got drunk and ended up in bed. The sex was great and I wanted to do it again. Tracy felt guilty though. She thought she had betrayed her friend. The next day, Allison came over. She said that Tracy told her what had happened. The weird thing was, Allison didn't seem mad. In fact, she was apologetic. She told me that everything was her fault and that she wanted to start sleeping together again. She started crying. We made love that afternoon. A couple of weeks later, I found out something really bizarre. Tracy told me that Allison had encouraged her to have sex with me. She had told Tracy she didn't care about me anymore. It was only after she found out we had sex that she wanted me back. Turner was no help. He thinks I should go along with what Catherine says. I think that Mrs. Randolph is insecure. She feels like she needs to boss me around all the time to show me that she's in control of the situation. I didn't tell Turner what I really felt. He's very defensive of her, like she's his kid or his girlfriend. The whole situation is starting to sort of piss me off, but I promised myself I'd do anything just as long as it helped Allie. But is it helping her? She just seems to be sinking deeper and deeper into her fantasy world, and Mrs. Randolph is the one who's pushing her. Turner told me that Mrs. Randolph is divorced. I'm not surprised.
That's like
rude.
So rude.
Yeah. Mrs. Greenstreet knew I was looking at the nymphet's ass in Dr. Turner's office. That was
nymphette.
Why would you call a woman walking past you a nymphette, you creep that we designed?
Yeah.
You piece of shit. I can't believe you did what we told you to do.
Yeah.
That was really embarrassing. The girl exudes sex. Though and she wanted me to look at her. I wonder what kind of therapy old Doc Turner is giving her. I'll bet he doesn't mind seeing her 3 times a week.
What have we done?
God, this man is trash. We made him this way, and I hate him.
Created?
I hate my son. I stopped by the office and said hi to everyone. Leon wasn't there, but everybody else was happy to see me. Duncan asked me if I wanted to play tennis sometime. I told him that would be great. Then I went to the Hippy Dippy food co-op and bought about $50 worth of health food crap. On the way home, I stopped off at the driving range and blasted some balls to the fence. Man, that felt good. I dread going to bed. Allison sleeps so rigidly, like a corpse. I run from the house, run away from them. I'm going to go out on the porch and drink a couple beers. It's starting to rain. I just woke up from the scarecrow dream. I can't sleep. 15 minutes passed while I just sat there, staring into space. I can't stop thinking about Mark, or maybe it's Susanna I'm dwelling on. It was Susanna's birthday party, and everyone had forgotten to get ice cream for the cake.
Hold on 1 second. So, one thing that I just want to clarify, because I think that we have to be a little fair, not even like the situation that we created, but we keep talking about like how he has all these obsessive sexual fantasies, but he also hasn't had sex in a very long time.
It's true.
And like,
it's valid to feel things on the inside so long as you don't make other people feel weird.
Yeah, and like, I just want to validate that, like, for some people that can be very frustrating, you know?
No, it's true. It's kind of like in Silent Hill 2, where James, like, is so sexually frustrated, but he feels ashamed because his wife is dying while he feels this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's valid to both be a creep, just be a creep in your mind, not out in the world, you know?
Yeah, well, and
it's okay to be horny.
And I think it's, like, even like, yeah, it's bad for him, for Michael, because, like, he's, like, it's not like he, like, they broke up. Like, they're still living together. He sleeps in the bed with her every night, and he just can't do anything. And, like, I imagine that has got to feel really horrible.
And at the same time, it's okay that she doesn't want to have sex, you know? It's just a shitty situation.
Shitty for everyone.
Mark volunteered to run to the store. He got hit by a drunk driver as he drove home. He was in a coma. The doctor didn't know if he would ever come out of it. Suzanne and I were alone in the hospital room with him. I had my arm around her, holding her close. My face was touching hers. We were both overwhelmed by what happened. We were scared and shocked and anguished. I could feel her hot tears rolling down my cheeks. I licked my lips and tasted her tears. And then the strangest thing happened.
Don't you judge. You talked about this.
Yeah, I don't, as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Something about the feel and taste of her tears sent this powerful electric sensation rushing through my body. I held Susanna closer to me. She must have felt it too because she opened her eyes wide and stared at me. All these emotions, sorrow and lust, lost and gain, all of them mingled together and pulled us together like a spell. We started kissing passionately, touching each other's bodies, surprised and thrilled by our own unexpected desire.
Oh no.
Susanna led me to the spare bed in the room and we made love while my best friend lay dying. Dude, this theme keeps coming up.
Well, we said that, like
this
sex...
happened, but that was his first erotic thing where the woman... He likes having sex on display. Wait, no, we did answer that question.
Yeah, we also said that sex is death.
We said that sex was death, and we also said it's cool to spy on people being intimate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested in what this game would be like if you were just like...
Not a creep?
Not a complete insane person.
Shitlord?
Yeah.
Like us?
How do we be the biggest piece of shit? And he is a piece of shit. What?
Yeah.
How dare you? And later that night, I had the scarecrow dream for the first time, the same dream I had tonight. In the dream, I'm walking through a house in the daytime. Nobody is home. Everything is so quiet and still. I look outside toward the pasture. I see a scarecrow hanging limp in the wooden cross. I walk outside, across the field. The closer I get to the scarecrow, the more scared I get. The scarecrow looks like a person, a man. I can't see his face. I stop an arm's length away. An old straw hat covers the man's features. I stare with horror at his hands nailed to the old boards. So like Jesus, the blood is dried and caked on. Suddenly the man twitches. I stumble backwards and fall on the ground. The scarecrow turns his head slowly and looks towards the sky. His eyes are sunken. His skin is cracked from exposure. But I still recognize who it is. It is my face. It is me. I feel like they're trying to push a lot of biblical imagery, and we've just been rejecting it every time.
Mm-hmm.
What else? The kitchen, and then we can finally go to Jody's room.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really cool if it was just a rotting corpse, but it's probably not.
No. Well, because he was in the room before and we saw the bed.
What's this? Oh, here's a grocery list. But what's that picture in the background? Creepy. Jody's room. Yes. I love how messed up this game is because of what we've done.
Yeah.
Please don't fuck her in Jody's
I
room.
guess I shouldn't be surprised that Michael went to see Turner. I half expected it. Turner wants me to keep Michael more informed, if that's going to help anything. She'd be a lot better off if he went back to work and let me get on with my job. I'm making a lot of progress with her, and it would be a considerable improvement if I didn't have to explain myself every step of the way. He's so resistant. And the biggest part of my job is trying to untangle the mess he's created for the past 6 months. Turner's not much help either. He's better than most of them, but it never ceases to amaze me how out of touch psychiatrists can be with what's really troubling their patients.
I don't like the sounds.
Creepy.
What the fuck?
What is
this?
that?
Is that furry art?
That looks like furry porn.
It does, but it's like a. This has to be something to do with his childhood because it's like vaguely sexual, but it's also someone getting spanked.
Yeah.
And it's like children cartoon shit.
Furry spanking.
Furry spank. Yeah, and they didn't even know what furries were back then, I think. Like, I think people knew, but nobody knew. You know, it was like a thing, but everyone was just like, okay.
Yeah. Bronies existed, but there wasn't a convention yet.
Yeah. There wasn't like an official furry situations happening yet.
When you've concluded this test, what does the stick figure most remind you of?
A bug.
It makes me think of like some sort of horrible eldritch god.
Yeah.
But I don't have that.
Yeah.
guess
Bug
bug.
was the closest
You're
thing that I came
born
to.
with artistic talent. You can't learn it.
False.
False.
What has the person found?
A turtle?
I look a baby.
Oh, I didn't
His
even
penis?
I didn't even look at options. It just looked like yeah.
What?
I don't know.
That's the weirdest one. Let's click on it.
Okay.
What makes this a happy painting?
The smiling faces.
Smiling faces.
Long car trips are
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's how they died. That's how the daughter died.
Mm-hmm.
making up fantasy games.
He would say it's not healthy, right? It's good if it doesn't take over reality.
I say, yeah. Well, let's. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
The best game to play at a birthday party is
Weird.
Spin the Bottle is weird.
It's just a weird game.
It's just a very weird game. Same with like 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
that's
weird.
All that stuff is like, haha, we want to be sexual, but we don't know how.
And I'm too ashamed to ask on my own, so let's make up games where we feel forced to do it.
Yeah.
And then somebody is like, I actually don't want to.
I actually don't want to, and you make me feel like I'm forced to do this.
And I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But what's past the orange? Is that something weird?
I don't know, but I like Hit the Piñata.
Yeah.
when I was a child, I was afraid of the dark.
True.
When my parents fought, I would
Oh.
Well, this is so dark, but we want the weirdest shit. I don't know. Hide in the closet?
Sure.
I don't want to click hurt myself because it's like.
I know, right?
It's like.
that's. Yeah.
Teasing
wanna see a kid
is a
cutting
natural
himself.
part of childhood and should be encouraged.
False. But what would... Oh my god, you see this? It's
What it-
peepees. Because he has, like, repressed abuse. But let's say, I mean, like, yes, because that would result in a more fucked up story.
Maybe? Sure.
The word mom makes me feel
Depressed.
Sick.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes?
This thing with the television.
What thing?
Bringing a set in and actually hooking it up.
What about it?
Well, it's ridiculous.
Oh? Why?
Who's gonna watch it?
Who listens when you come in and say goodnight to Jody? Is that ridiculous too?
Allison does. I do it for her.
You've had a depressed, dysfunctional wife for 6 months. I've been here for 2 days and you're already seeing results. And you think you know better than I do? So what do you want? Do you want me to leave?
No.
Then I insist that you stop interfering and let me do my work the way it needs to be done.
That's the worst.
Especially if you're having a bad day already.
Dumb shit like that makes me want to, like, scream and throw things.
It's
I
done.
don't consider myself...
That was probably an Easter egg
What's she
from one of their
watching?
other games.
Oh, I turned the set off. She was sleeping.
She'll be so excited when she wakes up, don't you think?
Her hair gets crazier and
I am
crazier.
starving. It's been a long time since I've had Allison's pancakes.
These are delicious.
Thank you.
Look wonderful, honey.
Catherine thinks we should get a pet for Jody.
A what?
A little dog like Punky.
Animals are out of the question. What are you thinking about?
Just trying to find ways to bring life back into the house, Mr. Overton.
She's right, Michael.
Yeah, but with Jody so confined, it might be too much of a tease.
Or an inspiration.
We could get one just like Punky.
Okay. I'll go to the animal shelter. I'll see if they have one like Punky. And if they don't, I'll just ask them to let us know the minute one comes in.
Why not get a different kind? Allison, from what you tell me about her dog's death and how painful it was, we shouldn't remind her of it.
She does have a point, don't you think so, Michael?
I guess so.
Will you do it?
Okay.
Thank you, Michael. You're the most wonderful husband ever.
See what the
I
patient...
think
Like,
the
I
do-
hate
No,
this.
Yeah.
but no, you can't go in there.
Look, Mrs. Greenstreet, I just need 5 minutes of his time. It's important.
What is it, Michael?
I'm sorry to barge in on you like this, Dr. Turner, but Mrs. Randolph is really going too far.
I thought she was doing rather well.
She had me put a television in Jody's room, and now she's making me go to the animal shelter to get a dog.
A dog?
Yes, for Jody. Can you believe it?
It's for the
Michael,
wife.
Mrs. Randolph, Catherine does know what she's doing.
I don't think so.
Really? Come on in.
I'm pretty sure the dog is like...
What?
Hello, Michael.
What's happening?
Michael
What is
is
happening?
concerned with your approach to Allison's therapy.
Yes, I heard.
Catherine was just telling me that Allison, in fact, has recovered a lot of energy, and that her lethargy has disappeared. Would you agree?
Yes. I guess so.
Please, sit down. seem unsure.
Yes, she has a lot of energy.
She's also free of any indication of depression.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds very good.
Yeah.
Is this true, Michael?
That's how it appears to be, but Allison still believes that our daughter's alive, and Catherine's making it worse.
Sorry, making what worse?
Her condition.
Your wife is actually showing some initial signs of recovery.
Michael, returning to normal for Allison is going to be a complex and delicate journey. Now, I can see that you're feeling left out, but you can be very helpful in her recovery. And what's needed most, indeed the most essential ingredient, is your cooperation.
Then you think I should do what Catherine says?
Yes, I think it would be most helpful.
And I should get her the dog.
That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Like getting a
Yeah,
pet.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
But I don't think it's not for Jody. I think it's for Allison.
I agree on that, but that is a lot to ask to
Yeah.
get a pet, you know? Especially if the person doesn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a reasonable thing to say, but it's a lot to ask.
I can see now that Michael was more upset than I'd realized. I thought at the time that he was just confused by the process and that simply focusing on the results might put him at ease, but now it seems that what's troubling him most is the dynamic between Michael and Catherine. And this isn't good. At least in my humble opinion. What do you think?
Is Allison conscious of Michael's sexual desires?
I think so. What do you think?
Okay, towards her, yeah, but she doesn't seem to be aware of them towards Catherine. Which I thought was what they were asking about.
Oh, okay. So then no.
As a child, I enjoyed myself most.
Alone.
When I was alone.
Yeah.
My sexual appetite is...
Ravenous.
Psychiatry definitely involves a degree of trickery.
Yeah, why not?
It's not true, but we're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Because that will
'Cause that's-
result in chaos. I like that we get to like play as chaos gods in these people's lives. Because like it could have gone so well, but we came.
But yeah.
Is Catherine behaving in a manner appropriate to her position?
Absolutely not.
No.
Catherine was in my office under innocent circumstances.
I don't know. I think so. I think so. She's allowed to get dressed up.
Well, yeah, and I mean, she's allowed to like talk to
Allison
Dr.
and
Turner
Catherine
about
share
therapy.
secrets.
1000%.
Yes.
They're yoni massaging each other.
Michael is probably paranoid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Allison is more conscious of things going on around her than she reveals.
Yes.
Yes.
Full chaos.
Disorders of sexual desire. Okay, I'm gonna skim this.
Yeah, I think I'm probably about done for the day.
Okay. Blah 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 blah.
Too
Okay,
much.
Okay, that can't. That's too much reading. Okay, how do I save? I think you can just. Yeah. Okay.
The X is right up there.
Oh, okay. Let me look at help.
How it works, returns to story. Oh yeah, so go to the next page. Huh.
Would probably thrive on scholar activities. States that sexual desires are ravenous. Is this hunger being satiated? Sometimes patient overanalyzes and over-person. Oh, these are things that we're writing. Okay. Okay, well. Boop. Hopefully that's. Yes.